They say it only appears to those who are truly lost. At the edge of town, where the road turns to gravel and then to nothing, there stands a house. Locals whisper about it but never go near. You won't find it on a map. You won't find it in any public record. But if you ever feel like the world no longer recognizes you, like you're invisible to everything and everyone, the house will find you. This is the story of Ava Holloway, a woman who thought she was just passing through, until the house decided otherwise. Ava was running from her past. Or maybe she was driving straight into it. She wasn't sure anymore. After a messy breakup, a job loss, and the death of her estranged father all within the span of 3 months, Ava packed up her things and left the city. She didn't tell anyone where she was going, not that anyone cared to ask. The road stretched endlessly ahead. She'd been driving for hours through the countryside when her GPS glitched, flashing a warning, route recalculating. Ava frowned. There was no signal. No bars. Just a thin dirt road branching off to the right with an old wooden sign that read, Endale, 7 miles.
I guess that's my detour.
She muttered and turned. The road narrowed, trees closing in on both sides. Fog rolled across the path like a warning. But Ava was too numb to feel unease. Not yet. Endale wasn't a town. It was barely even a collection of buildings. A broken-down gas station, a boarded-up diner, and one rusted street lamp that flickered above a crooked street sign. But at the very end of the road stood the house. Victorian, 2 stories tall, its paint peeling in long gray strips. The windows were dark, but not shattered. Its structure seemed intact, almost preserved. Ava wasn't sure why she stopped the car, or why she opened the door and stepped out. Something in her chest pulled her toward the house. There was no wind, no birds, just a heavy silence. As she reached the porch, the door creaked open on its own. She should have turned around, but something whispered, "Come inside." The air inside the house was thick, not musty like dust, but warm like breath. The door shut behind her with a soft click. The foyer was dim, but candles lined the hallway, their flames dancing as though recently lit. There were coats still hanging by the door, shoes lined neatly in a row. It didn't feel abandoned. She walked forward. A parlor appeared on her left, filled with old furniture, a ticking grandfather clock, and a long mirror leaning against the far wall. She paused. In the mirror, she saw the parlor, the candles, the furniture, but not herself. She wasn't there. She turned around sharply, expecting a trick of the light. But everything looked normal.
Hello?
She called out, her voice barely rising above a whisper. And then she heard it, faint footsteps upstairs. Ava climbed the stairs slowly, each creaking step echoing too loudly. The hallway above was lined with faded portraits, faces blurred and featureless. At the very end, a single door stood slightly ajar. Inside was a bedroom. Dusty, untouched, but lived in. A journal sat on the nightstand. Ava opened it. Page after page, filled with names. Hundreds of them. At the very end, Ava Holloway, room 3B. Her blood ran cold. She hadn't told anyone she was coming here. She hadn't planned to come here at all. The pages began to turn on their own, rapidly flipping back to the beginning. And in the silence, the house whispered, "You are not the first. You will not be the last." The smell hit her next, roasted meat, herbs, freshly baked bread. She was starving. Downstairs, the dining table was now set. Plates, silverware, steaming dishes, candles lit in perfect symmetry. There were 4 other guests seated, silent, motionless, their faces turned toward her. Ava froze. "Sit," one of them finally said, his voice dry like dust. She sat. None of them blinked. None of them breathed. A woman with red curls lifted her glass and whispered,
"Once you eat, you're part of the house."
Ava dropped her fork.
What is this place?
Another voice, deeper, closer, came from behind her.
It's home.
She turned. No one was there. But when she looked back, the table was empty. Only her plate remained, and her name was carved into the wood beneath it. Ava ran. She grabbed her bag, flung the door open, and bolted down the porch steps. Heat car was gone. So was the road. Only trees surrounded her now, thick and endless. The forest swallowed everything. The house was no longer behind her. Only the fog remained. She ran until her lungs burned, screamed until her voice cracked. But the forest gave no answer. And then the whispers returned. Soft at first. A chorus, chanting her name. Ava. Ava Holloway. She spun around. Faces appeared between the trees, watching. Unblinking. She closed her eyes and whispered.
This isn't real.
And the house whispered back. It is now. Eventually, the trees parted, and the house stood before her again, as if it had never moved. It was waiting. Defeated, Ava entered once more. But something had changed. The floorboards groaned beneath her like a heartbeat. She walked into the parlor, back to the mirror. This time, her reflection was there. But it was smiling. And Ava was not. Behind her, the wall cracked open, revealing a hidden staircase leading down into darkness. She followed. The cellar was lined with shelves. Each shelf held a box. Each box held a name. Her fingers trembled as she opened the one labeled Ava Holloway. Inside, a photograph of her as a child. Her father. A newspaper clipping about her recent job loss. A lock of hair. This house had been watching her long before she arrived. It knew her. At the end of the cellar was a final door. Heavy, wooden, carved with hundreds of names. Her fingers found hers, freshly etched. She pushed it open. Inside was a replica of her childhood bedroom. Every detail perfect. The books, the posters, the stuffed animal with one eye. She stepped inside, and the door shut behind her. Now there were voices. Not whispers, not anymore. They were clear. You belong here now. You were chosen. The world forgot you, but we never will. Ava Holloway was never seen again. And the house? It still waits. Sometimes at the end of a road that shouldn't exist. Sometimes hidden in the corners of your dreams. It doesn't appear for everyone. Only for the lost. Only for those the world has forgotten. So if you're ever driving, no signal, no sense of direction, and a road appears where none should be, don't follow it. Because once the house learns your name, it never lets go. If this story sent chills down your spine, let us know in the comments what you think happened. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more haunting stories from the shadows. Because once a place remembers you, there's no turning back.